Taylor. Taylor was introduced at the age of 12 to older men through her friends, many of whom were adult Muslim men. They began by giving her lifts home from school, sometimes in black cabs and sometimes in their own cars. Taylor saw the men buying gifts for her friends and initially wished she could receive gifts too. On one occasion, instead of being taken to school, she was driven to one of the men's sisters' houses and taught how to cook Asian food. Her friends spent more time with the men, but because her parents expected her to come straight home after school, she had limited contact with them beyond the lifts. She notes that her friends were already doing adult things such as smoking, drinking, and going to clubs, whereas she still had a more childlike disposition. This dynamic continued for 3 years until she turned 15, when the abuse began. She started going with her friends to a restaurant run by Muslim men to help with deliveries. This escalated when one of the men who worked there, a 35-year-old Bangladeshi man, kissed her, causing her to run away. The same man later raped her when she was 15. Because her friends were also being abused, Taylor believed it was normal and that the man was her boyfriend. However, when she walked in on him with one of her friends, she realized this was not the case. After this, her behavior changed dramatically. She began skipping school and drinking heavily. During a family incident that led to police being called, Taylor's father mentioned his suspicions that she was being abused by Asian men. The police responded that there was nothing they could do because she had consented. Police were called on multiple occasions regarding the abuse of Taylor and her friends, but they consistently refused to take action. The only time they helped her was when a group of Asian girls called the police. Officers then returned Taylor and her friends home. Taylor believes they only intervened on that occasion because they did not want to face accusations of racism, given that the call came from Asian women. By the age of 16, she had been introduced to many more men and was constantly harassed by them over the phone. Some men would initially appear kind and caring, leading her to believe they were in a relationship, only to lure her into situations where she would be gang raped. They used a combination of false kindness, violent abuse, and alcohol to coerce and control her. Cars would stop in the street and demand she get in. She would be raped and then taken to the next abuser. She claims that on some nights she was passed to as many as 10 different men, and estimates she was abused by around 100 men in total. One common tactic used by the gangs was to send taxis to pick up drunk girls late at night. The driver would pretend to stop at a shop for a drink, then drive off, leaving the girl behind. A group of men would then rescue her, only to take her to a pre-arranged house for gang rape. A number of women also played a role in directing girls to their abusers in exchange for gifts and money. These women would trap the girls in properties or use violence to coerce them. Taylor has witnessed shootings, had knives held to her throat, and a gun held to her head. The gangs used the death of one of the other girls as leverage, threatening that anyone who spoke out would be next. Realizing she had to escape the abuse, Taylor made a detailed 20-page statement to the police. She provided phone numbers of more than 100 Asian men and showed them messages in which the men threatened to rape her mother, beat her father, and burn down the family home. No investigation followed. Both her teachers at school and her GP were aware that something was seriously wrong, but did not pursue their suspicions further. Taylor. Before they raped me, they would chant Bismillah, Hir Rahman, Nir Rahim. Translation: in the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful.